Hi, people, welcome to this episode of Depth and Becoming. My name is Dr. Glory, and today I have with me Grace and Gloria, my namesake.
Hi, everyone.
Okay, so I'll take a few minutes to tell you about Depth and Becoming. So, Depth and Becoming is a podcast that focuses on Gen Z, especially the vulnerable ones. And the aim of this podcast is to create a space where they can be enlightened, where they can be empowered, and where they can be transformed. You know, we're here to equip them and by advising and mentoring if possible. So today I'll let my guests introduce themselves. I'll start with Gloria. Gloria, please tell us about you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Gloria.
Hello, Gloria.
I'm happy to be here today on this new episode. I've been in China for the past 6 to 7 years.
Wow.
I came here to study, and now I'm currently working
Awesome.
I'm also a mom.
Amazing. That's a very outstanding part that today's topic is bent on. She's a mom, she's a worker, she studies here, she studied here, and she's a mom, and she has a career, she has to juggle that, you know. So that's one of the strengths we're going to highlight today. So I'll go to my second guest, Gracie. Please tell us about you.
Hi everyone, my name is Grace. I'm a student. I'm studying for my PhD. I've been here for almost 8 years. I did my master's and then I continue to study for my PhD. I'm still studying for my PhD. So that's all I have to say, and I'm glad to be here.
That's awesome. Thank you guys so much. Today, our topic will be balancing family, career, studies, and just the whole life expectation together. So that's what we'll be talking about, because these our guests are very outstanding in doing that. You know, I have known Gloria for about maybe 4 years, and in this time there has been series of events, and she has been able to evolve and still be able to cope with the situation. You know, she's been able to manage being a mom and being a worker, and being so juggling this two can be very hectic, especially when you're abroad. So we will dive deep into that as we go on in the episode. And for Grace, oh my God, she's very hardworking. I've seen this woman bring things on herself. Even you think you don't have to do this much, but you see, she's very dedicated, you know, to her studies, to her work, you know, to everything that she has going on around her. You can really see that she has that. She's been able to establish a balance in all of this. So it makes her very suitable for this topic. So first, we'll first of all discuss, you know, what are the challenges of juggling several important aspects of your life. You know, okay, I'll start with Gloria. What are the challenges you face juggling work and family, you know, especially living abroad?
Thank you for that question. That is a very important and hard question to answer.
Mm.
Well, I came to China to study, and as I've already said, working, and I'm a mother. And hmm, I must say, it's not an easy journey to embark on as a parent and a worker living abroad with no family members around.
To help.
Um, it's not been easy, but I think the strength always comes from within, and also it comes from the face of your child.
Child.
Sometimes you feel like giving up. Sometimes you feel like, oh, it's not working. But we take each step
One day at a
gradually, one day at a
time.
time, a step at a time. And yeah, I remember going to work, and so my baby has a nanny who takes care of him during the day as I go to work. So
Mm.
she comes to work at 7 a.m. once I
Okay.
leave for work, and then
Okay.
she leaves at 5 when I return from work.
Okay.
And then from that time till morning,
It's you.
it's me. It's me doing
Oh
my job as a mom,
my
um,
God.
blending that with work. If I have something to do from work, I still have to get it done. You get
Of
home
course.
and this boy wants to play, and
Yep.
you are in front of your computer. Sometimes he's watching the TV, and then he
Mm.
sees you on your computer.
He
That
wants to watch on your computer.
come and drag you, or he wants
Yeah.
something, or he's doing something. He wants you
To
to look at
participate.
him and participate.
Yeah.
So it's challenging having no help and living abroad. It's really challenging.
Wow.
However, I think I have a strong support system.
Mm. We are going to get to that. Just hold on to that thought because it's part of the questions coming coming up. Hold on to that thought. It's yes, yes, yes. I really today is not about me, so I'm not going to focus on me. Yeah, she's our guest, so we're talking about her today. But I really understand what she's saying because even when you get back home to sleep, like okay, after I had this job, I want to rest. You know, you're back to a full-time job. Probably a child that won't sleep all through the night, and then you have to carry that sleepy head, repeat the circle again. You understand? Because when your child doesn't sleep, you cannot sleep, right? So you have to repeat that circle again. So I really understand the challenge that can be, but it's very insightful. At least you have a nanny. So let's I don't know if it can be worse, but for other people, but like yeah, it's such a process. Juggling these responsibilities can be very, very tedious. So next, I'll go to Grace because uh, this woman, I don't know how you do it. Like, as in the way our work ethic, you know, the way she combines work and study, and we used to work in the same place, and I've seen I'm always drinking a lot of coffee to stay awake to do something, but Grace is always like her energy, her strength is really something to be studied. So yeah, I really, really admire that about her, and I'd like you to tell me or tell us, you know, what are the challenges, if any, what are the challenges you face in juggling these responsibilities?
Hmm. Let me see. Um, it's not easy combining work with studies because sometimes if you are not careful, you tend to tilt towards one side more
More.
than the other. I have, and also I think I'm able to do that because I have studied how my body works.
Okay.
So, for example, when it comes to schoolwork, like my studies, PhD, I've realized that I do better at night when everywhere is very quiet. I'm
Okay.
able to achieve more
More.
during that time than I do during the day.
Okay.
And so I do what I have to do, other work stuff during the day,
Yeah.
and then I push all my study time to the night.
Mm.
And then the challenges in that is you deprive yourself a lot of sleep.
Yes, I wanted to say that. When do you get to rest?
And oh, sometimes I sleep at 3 a.m. I wake up at 6. It's even very common. I do that
That's
a
why I
lot.
say you're a machine. She's a
And
machine, guys.
you deprive yourself so much sleep, and then it's also very bad for your health. But I just feel like, I mean, it's just a phase. It's just a
Yep.
phase.
Yep.
And once I'm able to finish this, I will have more time for myself. So I try my best. And sometimes I try to nap in the afternoons, sometimes at home. Okay, during weekends, because weekdays it's not really easy. But on the weekends, I try to nap in the afternoon so that I'm able to energize myself for the night. And I'm naturally charged up. Actually, my body is naturally very charged up. I just find myself being awake like for a long time. So I feel like that also helps me because not everybody has the kind of body that I have.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not like I have any super energy or anything. It's just the way my body is. I feel like I'm able, and when I have something on my mind that I need to achieve this thing, I feel like it takes my sleep away because
Okay.
I'm always looking at accomplishing the task ahead of me. So I can manage 3 hours of sleep. It's okay
Okay.
most of the times, but
Okay.
these days, since I'm not doing a full-time job, I'm able to take naps in the afternoon, and
Okay.
then I stay up in the night till late in the night. But those times when I used to work with you, it was a full-time job, and so
Yeah.
because of that, I used not to nap in the afternoon. But I don't know, just I'll just say it's God, because all my life there are events that have happened that when I sit back now and I look at those things, I ask myself, how did I do that? Would I have done it now if I was confronted with the same situation?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like I don't know how I get through it. Maybe just God knows that. Yeah, this girl needs to do this. So
True.
he just helps me. It's not I cannot explain how I do it, but I do it anyway.
That's awesome. Seriously. Because I've seen it happen with her. So I think the most important lesson is that one we should understand what works for our body,
Yeah.
how our body works, and so that based on the way your body works, you can strategize and plan accordingly.
Yeah.
That way you'll be able to juggle a lot of
Mm-hmm.
responsibilities, even in limited time. And I think another thing that also help people, get on with this juggling responsibility is
Mm-hmm.
that there's always the thing about there's hope. Like,
The
this will
goal.
not be forever.
Yes.
Yes, there's a goal. You're like, okay, this will not be forever.
Mm-hmm.
So I can push, and definitely,
Yeah.
will be able to get some result at the end of
Yeah,
the day.
exactly.
That's really
It's the
that's
hope.
really our next question. It has been answered. So our next question was supposed to be like, what prioritization technique do we have? Like, when you have, I have to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How do you prioritize which one to do first? They are all equally important. Yeah. So can you give a few tips to our viewers? How do you prioritize, what to do first? Because you are juggling a lot of responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll start with Glory. How do you prioritize these responsibilities?
Well, it's very hard. That's very hard, especially when you have a child
Yep,
you know.
in the picture.
Before, when I was alone, I didn't have much priorities. Like, I could set my goals. I know what I'm doing. I'm working. I need to put money here, there. I need to buy this and that. But since I became a mom, I think my child is my first priority. You know, I think there was a time I wanted to take him to school when he turned 1
Mm,
because the nanny fee is too much,
very high.
very high. It's it's like more than 1/3 of my salary,
Yeah.
and I try to wait. I look at my son. I look at my job. I look at the stress level
Mm.
and everything, because I'm not able to save like the way I used to
You
do
used to
before.
save, yeah.
But then I have to put my child first. As I said earlier, he is my first priority. He comes before everything, comes before my needs. And then I sat down, I told myself, no, as Grace already said, it's a phase.
Yep.
This phase shall pass. He will definitely get to the schooling age.
Yeah.
And all these extra
Costs
and
won't be necessary.
Won't be necessary.
Yeah.
So I just had to put in all my effort and told myself, okay, he stays home till the age that I have told myself. So I have to sacrifice 1/3 of my salary to pay or to
for
cater
his
for the nanny, so he can have like
a stable
stable development and growth until he gets to that. For me, I feel that is a huge sacrifice anytime I look at it. And his health is one thing that I also do not take for granted.
Yeah.
So I always have to make sure the person taking care of him is happy to take care of him. So if there's any extra thing that I have to do, if there are some things that I have to overlook, I do that just for the nanny to also have that peace of mind.
More like you're more accommodating, right?
And I'm conscious about it. Because the moment someone is not happy taking care of your child, their aggression, their anger, and everything will be transferred on the child.
To the
because
child.
you are not home. You don't know what is going on, even though I have cameras installed around the house. So I think the well-being of my child is my most, the highest priority. And then my job, keeping my job, because if there's no job,
how do you support?
No So now I try to balance between my child's needs and my needs. Now I have to bring mine down and raise his medicals, his taking care of bills, clothing, feeding, and everything has to be up there. I remember last winter, after I gave birth, I didn't buy new clothes, So I kept repeating the same clothes that I was wearing while I was pregnant. It's just this season that I sat down and told myself, you know what, just get out of this and give yourself a treat.
Yeah.
I like that.
It was really difficult to take my phone, go online and shop for myself. But I think now I feel like I also have to take care of myself.
Yeah.
So I have come out of that, and I've also put myself on the priority list.
Very good. Very good. I always like to share this illustration. Motherhood, will make you lose everything, because at that time you feel like this child is me. This child is tied to me. Like, without me, this child probably can't survive, right? So you feel like you should leave every other thing and focus on this child's survival. Then when the child is able to take care of themselves, then every other thing will be fine. But then I recently, let me don't say mine did not even start, but recently I understood this illustration that you are the center. Yeah.
That holds everything.
You are the center that holds everything. Yeah. And if today, I always try to imagine, God forbid, anything happens to me today, what happens to that child? Do you understand? So it means if I am not healthy, I'm not strong enough, I'm not balanced, I'm not growing, I'm not getting more opportunities, I'm not doing anything that will elevate me, because I am the center. If I don't do that, whatever benefit I want this child to get, this child will never get it.
It's true.
So that illustration just keeps me together.
Mhm.
For example, if I need to take a pill, if I need to do anything, you understand, for my health, for my well-being, you understand, I always think of it like, if you are not well today, if something happens to you, what happens to your child? So in all of it, we understand like this priority thing, we always put the child first, right? But at some point, you also have to also be level up. Yeah. No one is saying you should put yourself above the child, because the child still depends on you, right? So level up, because if you're also not taking care of,
But if you put yourself up, your child is with you.
right?
You are up there together.
That's also
And
that's
so
also
that
true.
is, you
That's
understand?
also true.
Because there's no way you say, oh, I'm buying myself clothes and my child is going to be naked. It's not possible. If you're looking good, your child is also looking good.
True.
If you're not looking good and your child is looking good, everybody looks at you and you're like, she okay? Is everything okay with her?
She's depressed.
But that was me. That was me, really.
I remember when I was pregnant. When I was pregnant, like consciously, deliberately, I was eating so well.
I remember that.
I was eating so
Very
well.
healthy, by the way.
Healthy. Like, I made sure I had my breakfast, I had my lunch, I was eating fruit, I was eating vegetables.
Yes, I
But then,
remember.
the moment the baby came out, that was it.
You
I went down flat.
You didn't take care of yourself
Oh my
anymore.
goodness. I wasn't taking care of myself anymore.
I know.
I wasn't taking
I
it.
know.
I remember you used to tell me, you have to still do the
What?
things that you
Yeah.
used to do
Yeah.
Exactly.
when you were pregnant.
Exactly.
But it's really, I think it takes time to balance yourself.
Yeah.
It really takes time to balance.
Yeah.
It really takes time. But
That's
I think we
why
are getting there.
experience is value.
Yeah.
Yeah, experience is value. That's why we're sharing on this podcast. Okay, so we'll go to Grace.
I'm happy that I'm learning.
We'll go to Grace. What is your prioritizing technique? How do you do it? Like,
Okay.
study, work, how do you juggle that? I'm saying this because I also know that PhD is a hell of a journey. Like with PhD, with PhD study, when people say they have a break, you never feel it. You never feel, okay, you have a break, oh, all well and good. With PhD, your brain is always working.
Do PhD students go on break?
I don't know, but I think Chinese PhD students go on break. I think so. I think so. Yeah, maybe for a few days.
Recharge.
Maybe for a few days, but they do.
Recharge.
They do.
Because I mean,
but it is not a pretty position to be. So I want to know, how do you do it? Because if you can manage it at this stage, and I think a lot of people, most people have lesser challenges. Yeah, so maybe they can draw some inspiration from what you do.
Well, so for me, I have long-term goals, and these long-term goals in my situation is like a month goal.
Okay.
Because I mean, I'm studying and I have to show results like progress every time.
Okay.
So let's say 1 month. In 1 month, this is what I want to do. I'm supposed to write one chapter in 1 month.
Yeah.
I will have to break it down into smaller tasks. So, for example, I need 50 papers to be able to write this chapter. This 1 week, I'm going to be reading those 50 papers.
Okay.
And so, in a day, I should be reading this number of papers and summarizing them. Then, the next week, I'm supposed to find the data that I'm going to use for the chapter.
Okay.
I'll find the data, and then from that week and the next, I should be able to analyze. Because usually in my field, we use secondary data. It's not like you're going to collect primary data that is going to take a long time. So I should be able to gather my data. Maybe in one week, I'm able to gather the data. Then the next week, I'm analyzing.
Okay.
And then the final week, I'm writing the findings and the discussions.
Okay.
And so that in a day, so after I've laid that down, written, because me, I like writing a lot. If you come to my room now, I have so many diaries lying around because I write a lot.
Okay.
I'll write these plans down. Then I'll go on the daily. So I'll come down to the daily. So in a day, if I'm reading, maybe I'm reading 6 papers in a day. So I have to read, and this is the time that I'm reading. I should be able to spend approximately this amount of time on one paper.
Yeah.
It doesn't always work,
Yeah.
but I write it down just to
Okay.
guide me.
Just as a guide.
Yeah.
So that you know when you're lagging or when you need to like push something
exactly
forward. Yeah.
So that's how I organize my work. And then when it comes to prioritizing, I know that I am juggling this with work and other things. Definitely some have a more closer deadlines, if I can say it like that, than others. And so those ones will definitely shift up to the top, and the others will come down according to how urgent any of those tasks are. And then one thing that I think I do, the most important of them all, like you guys were talking about, is myself, the body that I'm using. Because I mean, what use will this PhD degree be to me if this body is sick? You understand? And so if I hear any or feel any tiny pain anywhere, I am out to the hospital. The last time Anako was telling me that, oh, but you do well with the hospital. I am going to get. So this night, somewhere around 3 a.m., I started feeling some funny pain. And I was like, maybe from here, I'll try to go to the hospital and see what the pain is about. But maybe I'll go tomorrow, because when I woke up, I realized that the pain had gone down. Okay. But I'll still go and find out why. Oh, yes. I go to the hospital. Please, I need to know, because I'm to be honest, if I'm going to be very honest to myself, I know that I'm overusing my body. I know that I overwork this body so much. And so the least I can do is to find out how it's faring. Exactly. And how do I do that? By going to get it checked. And so if I feel any tiny pain anywhere, I am there at the hospital. And thank God we are in China. Yes. It's easy. Yes. It's easy to get checked.
Healthcare is accessible.
You
really
understand?
Accessible. Yes.
And so I really take advantage of that. So the most important of all of these is my body. I make sure that the engine is working. The engine is working, right? Yeah. And then I'll just balance my work according to which one is more urgent.
It makes a lot of sense.
So if my supervisor is on my neck, maybe in the next 2 weeks you have to send your report. I'll make sure that I put in more work towards that. And then after that 2 weeks, I can now focus on these work stuff and other things. And one thing I also really do is I like to work on things that I'll need for work, not school, work ahead of time. Sometimes I even prepare materials 2 weeks before I need them. When I have the time, I do that, so that, because I don't know, these supervisors, some of them sometimes, you know how they behave. So that when it's time for me to use that material, it wouldn't be a situation where, oh, I need it, but my supervisor also needs me.
True.
And so so sometimes when you see me working at work, I am preparing materials for maybe 3 weeks ahead of time.
That's right.
Things that I will need in the near future. Let me just, since I have the time now, let me work on it and put it down. So that I can now get time to also focus on another thing.
Yeah,
so that's what I also do. And that's why many people think that I'm always doing something.
We all think that, actually. We all think that.
Yeah, that's what I do. That's how I do. I organize my stuff.
That's good. That's very insightful. I mean, it will teach people how to plan themselves and how to, prioritize.
Yeah.
According to what's more urgent and what's more important. You can prioritize like that.
Yeah. Okay, so in all you do, please don't ignore your body.
Yes.
In all you do.
Yes.
It's very important.
Very important.
That's what I would say.
The body is the engine.
I tell you, without it, where are you going?
Yes, that's very true. That's very true. So moving on, how do you build realistic goals? For example, I want to go to the moon. And now I'm like, how do I get to Elon Musk, you know, to enter his program to get to the moon?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, for example, first I'll have to try to contact his company and try to see if I can have conversation and see if I'm even a suitable candidate. Yeah. So, their process to whether it's big goals or small goals, right? So, how do you go about that?
Hmm. For me, setting realistic goals
Yes.
is very important in everything that you do. So, taking my studies, for example, like I'm writing my thesis, and I know that I have maybe a year to write that thesis. I need to sit down, and in the year, I have like how many chapters to write? I have about 7 chapters, no, eight chapters to write, and I need to do three different forms of studies for three of the chapters, those
Okay.
empirical chapters.
Okay.
And so I have to sit down and then, let's say maybe I take 7 months out of the one year that I have and spread these chapters across and make sure that um, what I am writing, if I'm not able to even achieve it within that time frame, it should be at least 80% of that. You don't want to set a goal like 1 month. Oh, in 1 month, I want to finish from chapter 1 to chapter 3. How are you going to do that?
Mm.
You
Mm.
cannot. You don't have to. You have to be reasonable when setting your goals. You should know that this is what it entails. This is what the work that I need to do entails. And this is how much time I think I can allot to myself to be able to
Yeah.
accomplish that goal.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So when we are setting goals, we shouldn't make it um, I don't want to say too big
Yeah.
or too
Like too urgent or to make it too compact.
yeah. No, it's good to be optimistic, like you say, but not be too much.
Yeah.
Writing thesis is to even finish your literature review alone. It's
Mm.
not easy. And then you want to finish introduction and literature review together in 1 month.
Mm.
Because let me say when I was even doing my what do you call it? My proposal this thing. That time I needed about 200 papers to write just my literature review.
Mm.
And then you want to be able to read 200 papers in 1 month and write your literature review and still do your introduction. It's not going to work. How is it going to work?
Yeah.
It doesn't really, unless of course you're just going to look at the title. Oh, the effect of this is okay. Dr. Gloria, the effect of this, and then just write it without even knowing the content of the paper, unless that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
If not, so setting realistic goals is very important. How do you set them? Look at the work that you have and look at your strength and what you can do.
Yes.
Within a time frame, and set the goal accordingly.
So true.
Don't just look at the work ahead of you. I know it's urgent because even this 1 year that I gave myself for writing my thesis alone, it's not easy. It's not easy for you to even finish within that 1 year. For that to you have to really push yourself. But that is also not enough reason for me to want to juggle everything together.
Yes, together.
I set my like I said monthly goals. In 1 month, this is how much I have to achieve. I know sometimes my supervisor is not happy with me, but that is what my strength can. I cannot go beyond my strength. You understand?
Makes sense.
And so when I'm setting the goals, I set what I can achieve, what I think my body can take,
Yeah.
not what my supervisor expects me to. It sometimes we try, but then, and so that's how I set my goals. I look at myself, look at the time that I have and the task ahead of me, and um how much time or how much resources or how much energy I have to achieve
the goal.
then I set it accordingly.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Okay, so Glory, how do you set realistic goals? I know you've told us how you prioritize, like small for your child, I understand that. But, in the midst of it all, how do you create, realistic goals? Like, okay, I have to achieve this, then achieve this, then achieve this. Like, what are the variables you consider?
Well, as Grace already mentioned, you look at your body and what your body can absorb or take.
Yes.
Um, and when it comes to work, I would say like Grace spoke about planning ahead of time. Usually, during holidays like this, I do all my lesson plans ahead of time and keep them on the side because when the term begins, like we are busy throughout the whole term.
Term.
And before I became a mom, like it was quite easier. I could bring some of the work home to do, but now I can't do any work. I
At
can't
home.
bring work home to do. So I have to make sure, like, every opportunity that I have, especially at work, I use it to do my work things. And then when I come home, it's home. I think one of the realistic goals that I set, I earlier mentioned that I wanted to take my son to school. At some point, initially, I was looking at the money. I was looking at the money part.
Yes.
Oh, okay, if he goes to school, like I will be able to save a few bucks,
Money.
you know.
Yeah.
But then I sat down and I asked myself, will you be able to do this all by yourself? You know. I wanted the nanny to go this winter. That was last September. But then the weather is cold. We are in winter. It's cold, and to wake him up in the morning, that would be so difficult for a child at this age to wake up. Even myself, I wouldn't be able to do it. So now I had to overlook the money and continue with
The nanny.
So I think that was realistic for me because I looked at my strength.
Yeah.
I looked at my capacity, what I can take.
Yeah.
And made that decision. I think that was one of the huge decisions that I had to make. I have been going back and forth with this whole thing of him starting school, staying home, starting school, staying home. It's difficult because you can't save much, but then you also have to look at your strength. You will save, but at the end of the day, you may spend it on something.
Yeah.
He will fall sick, you take him to the hospital, you can't go to work, you are losing money. That is more money. So I considered all that thought and decided, okay, let's continue. At least by the time he will start school, he will be like 2.5.
Yeah.
He will be able to withstand some of the weather and waking up early and all those kind of stuff. So it still boils down to priorities. It still boils down to, at this point, I think financially, I just had to how do you say?
Put it at the like
yeah,
the next,
let the money work
for you.
You know?
Yeah.
Let the money work for you.
Let the money
You are
work
working for
you.
the money, but at the end of the day, you are going to spend the same money on medicals. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So I think let the money work for you.
Work for you.
Yeah.
Okay, so because I also understand that some of our audience will be, someone raised my attention to it in previous episode. Some of our audience, I always say, let the money work for you, but like maybe it's not a reality. It's not realistic
for everybody.
Yeah. But more importantly, you should prioritize based on. I feel like health is key. Be it your diet, your fitness, your whatever you do, to stay healthy. Your body is the engine. So, in all the stress and whatever you're trying to juggle, make sure you keep your health. Yeah. When you're setting that goal, make sure it does not affect your health. You understand? And if you have to be stressed for some time, know how to balance it. Know how to balance, know when to just give yourself that me time, rest,
tell you.
Whatever you need. I was saying in some other episode that I could say I'm busy, but I just want to sleep. Do you understand? Because sleeping is part of my functionality.
Exactly.
It's part of what will make me very effective or efficient, right? So that is a balance we also have, and it's also realistic to me. Because when I set my goal, I'm like, okay, this has to come in, this has to come in. Because for high productivity, this is
Exactly.
this is key. Okay. So it's you guys have given very, very good insights into this
It
issue.
also boils down to what do you call it? Knowing what works for you.
Knowing
Like
what
you just said
works
now.
for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very important. Know what
Yeah.
works for your body. And have that at the back of your mind when you're setting your goals, so
When
that you
you're
can set
setting your
realistic
goals.
goals.
Yes.
Yeah.
Achievable goals.
Exactly.
Achievable goals.
Because if I know that, sleep makes me more effective, then I have to factor sleep into my goal setting.
Yes.
So that I'm able to sleep, so that I don't put too much content in my goals that I am deprived of sleep.
Then you end up not achieving anything. So it doesn't make sense. Okay, so another key part of this is, how do you avoid burnt out? Because I think for young people, for even, parents, elderly people, in this world, that because the world is so fast these days, like you feel like if you sleep, people are going.
Yeah.
Nobody is waiting for you, right? So like it's so fast and it's all in our face, right? So how do you manage being burnt out? Like that point where you get and you say, I just start throwing tantrum. How do you manage that? Let's start with Grace.
Okay,
Hi, baby. Hi.
Okay, so I would say to manage your life in such a way that you don't get to that point, that burnout state, is doing what you have to do at what time. You understand? I was watching a movie the last time, and I realized that the lady used to take a lot of off time from work. And then it got to a point where all the work that she had to do during those times she took off work came together. And she had to do everything together. She ended up falling sick.
Oh my God.
She fell so sick. Her friends even thought she would die or something, because she worked so hard. You understand? At the latter time. And so I feel like, let's do what we have to do at the time that we have to do them.
Yes.
So that they don't all come together at one point where we have to now, stretch to our limits to accomplish those goals. So, and then that's why we set goals.
Yes.
You have set your goal. Make sure that if you said time A, you're going to do A, please do A.
Yes.
Time B, you're going to do B, please do B.
Yes.
Time C, you want to go out and chill, go and chill.
So true.
Do not spend most of the time chilling, because for chilling, the body even likes it.
Yes.
You can easily forget yourself. You spend the time chilling out, hanging out with friends and other things, and you will forget that you have work to do. And then the work will pile up for you, and then you have to do them within a short frame of time.
Yes.
And then you find yourself worked up to your limit. And so it's very important. For me, how I do it is, when I work, there are so many, I can't even tell you the number of times that I've gotten to a point where my brain feels like it's frozen. It's like, I cannot think. No, I'm trying to be, think of something, because writing is just like telling a story.
Of course.
There's nothing coming. Sometimes even the introduction, that you want something that is more captivating, to write, but it's not coming. What do?
Rest. Close your computer.
My dear, I will push that thing aside. And
Close your computer.
I refresh my brain. So I'll maybe go on Google and I'll research something totally unrelated. Something very different from what I'm doing. Maybe I'll just say, how do people get fat? And I'll read. How do this? Or maybe I'll even watch comedy, because I like comedy or action. I'll look for something. Some of these funny skits that go around, I'll watch, I'll laugh, talk to myself.
And crime investigation.
Oh, Gloria, come on.
crime
Yeah,
is
and
like
crime. Yeah, I have these channels that I follow.
Yeah.
So when I put everything aside, I first go to YouTube to see if they have posted anything. If they haven't posted anything, I'll just go on Google and start searching nonsense. You understand? And by the time I go through it, maybe an hour, I feel refreshed. And then I take my computer back, or I go back to what I was doing, and I'm able to do something.
That's
So
awesome.
me, that's how I manage my stress. Like if I work and I feel like I've gotten to a point where I cannot think, I do something completely unrelated to what I am doing. And it
That's
helps me.
awesome.
And I didn't just get up one day to know this.
True.
I had to experiment.
More like discover yourself in the process.
Yes.
Yes.
And so you can do so many other things. Look at what you think. Just experiment with so many different things. See what works for you. So that when you get to that point where you feel like, oh, I'm so stressed, I cannot do anything. Just, and then once in a while we meet outside, even though I don't go out so much. But once in a while once in a year we meet and then we have fun. All these things help.
It helps.
It helps a lot.
To refresh.
Yes.
It helps to
Yeah,
refresh.
so I think these are some of the things that people can do.
True.
Yeah,
That's
but the
good.
most important thing, do not ignore your tasks.
Yes.
In favor of other things, because then you are preparing yourself for that burnout. You will get it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. That's very insightful. So, Glory, just to save time, let's go to how do you find or how do you find or build support system? Because I think whatever you're going through, yeah, several people, some people, someone somewhere have gone through it.
I'll tell you then.
So how do you find or build or connect with these support system? Because I think it is a beam of hope. If I can see, I know. Yeah. So how in your journey of motherhood, balancing family, work, and everything that you have to do, how do you find the right support system? How do you connect with them?
That is a very important question. Hefei, I'm currently living in Hefei.
In China.
In China and Hefei City. You guys schooled here. I didn't school here. I came here to work. So I think finding my support system is just by God's grace. The people that I have encountered and the support, the encouragement, the push, it's amazing. You are one of them. We met here in Hefei.
Yeah.
Where did we even meet? Yeah. And you've become like a very strong part of like my support.
Helping you.
You know, you've been there from day one. I remember that day when you told me, this is your decision. Whatever decision that you make today,
changes your life forever.
And from you, many people have come in. Sometimes, like, I least expect, but people are in to help, people are in to support, people are in to listen, to give advice, and to encourage. It has not been easy. I remember when I traveled home with Luca to go and do his circumcision, and we came back, we started work. As soon as we came back, like work had already resumed. I was so burnt out. I was so stressed. I was so tired. And then I was there, and Hilary and Annabelle just showed up at the house just to come and take care of Luca so that I can sleep.
Sleep can be the most precious thing you need in that situation. I know.
I
I
was just
know.
going through my photos recently, and I saw when Annabelle was carrying Luca to her back. I sent it to her. I was like, "Do you remember this day?
Oh.
That
Oh.
day, it was so precious.
Hmm.
It was so precious. Having a support system, living in abroad with no family, is one of the very important things that anybody can wish for.
Hmm.
Mm,
And I'm happy that I met all of you,
mm.
one way or the other. Like, you guys have supported me. Sometimes I just need somebody to
To
talk
talk to,
to
yes,
vent,
yes,
you know.
yes.
There are phases that I'm going through. I know the growth of children, like, it's in phases, and I'm new to all of them. I'm learning. There's nobody here to tell you, oh, go this direction or go there or go there.
Mm,
Then there was one time, the whole week I come home and Luca is crying. The moment he sees me, the nanny is gone, he just begins to cry
mm,
for no reason. Then I'll ask,
mm.
what is it? What do you want? And I'm
Come,
so
baby,
going
come.
crazy. Like, you want to? So I went to work one day, and I was so frustrated that I was venting to Anna and Hillary. I don't want to say this on camera,
Say
but
it. I mean,
they
it
were
will
like,
teach somebody.
they were like, you know what? You have to spank that boy.
Before you establish someone as your support system, how do you connect with them? Or what are the things you should look for
Mm-hmm.
when you
Choosing
want to establish this person
Support.
as part of my you know my support system?
Yeah.
Grace, can you?
I feel like you just have to look aside your family. If
Mm-hmm,
you're choosing a support system outside of your family,
mm-hmm.
it should be people who at least have similar background as you,
Okay.
who who will be like who can understand you
Mm.
easily because you guys share common background or similarities in your
Yes.
backgrounds.
Yes.
So I think that is one. And then number two, you can also look at people whose ideologies resonate with yours. You kind of think alike, more
Mm,
like.
mm.
Yes. So if there's an issue that is worrying you and you bring it up, they are able to help you and guide you, you know, in a way that you would do for yourself, I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you should also find people who are willing to be your support system,
Mm.
because it's not everybody that you meet and talk on a regular basis with, or even find as a friend, is willing to be there for you when you need
Yes.
them. You have to be able to point out the people who are willing to be there
To
when you
be
need them,
there. Mm.
people who are willing to listen to you when you want to talk to them.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
I feel like these are the things I would look out for if I was to
For
choose somebody as, or somebody that I want to go to, somebody that I want to lean on or something. I've been, I lived with Annabelle for some time. From living in IAT together, I was in the same room with Sadia, and then somehow I ended up living with Annabelle. I feel like if I saw her as somebody that I couldn't tolerate, or somebody that would not, I don't know how to say, that I don't see on the level that I see myself, I would have
mm.
been able to even, would have considered
Mm.
living with him, talk less of even tolerating each other and living in the same
To
house.
the same house. Yeah.
So, and then from there, I think the last surgery that I did, she was one of the people that I contacted that I
Mm.
needed to go with me to the hospital. Why?
Mm.
Because I know that I can count on
You
her.
can count on
You
her. Yes.
understand? And I know that she if she has the time, she would more than she would be more than happy to be there for me
Mm.
in those times. So I look at these things. Yeah.
That's very good. That's very good. I think support system has been a core foundation for me, and recently I think, but like when someone in your support system breaks your heart, I think it's hurts in a different way because recently that happened to me really.
Breakfast.
You know, a friend that has been closest to maybe for the past six years,
Mm.
you know, and all of a sudden, we had some paper issues, you understand, author, no author, and I feel like it's like an agreement.
Mm-hmm.
You decide, you agree, okay, you're going to put my name when you're publishing a
Mm-hmm.
paper. Yeah, I'm going to do the same. And I did that for you. And then
It's
it's
my
your
turn.
turn and you didn't do that. And then you're like, that I should know. You're telling me that I should know that if you had the power in that situation, you won't do me like that. That I
Okay.
should be confident in our friendship enough to know that you put my need 1st.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a situation that, therefore, because I'm saying, why did you do that? Why didn't you contact me? Why didn't you tell me what was going on? Stuff like that. Therefore, you think because of that, you shouldn't apologize because I don't trust our friendship. I'm like, where did adulting go? Adulting says you should say sorry when you offend someone. You agree that you offend me, I'm offended. Yeah. And I told you that I'm really hurt by this thing, and you just told me that you are disappointed that I cannot understand
That's a
that
narcissist.
that if you have a choice, you would put me in it. You've always wanted to put me in it. In this case, you didn't have a choice, blah, blah,
No,
blah.
but then what happened to explanation?
I'm like, what happened to explanation? And moreover, I was the one that asked you first. I asked you first that what is happening is
Mm-hmm,
my
mm-hmm,
name on
mm-hmm,
this paper that was published.
mm-hmm.
What is happening? If you were so sorry, if you were really sorry, you could have told me 1st before I even know about it.
Exactly.
So yeah, for me, I'm just like, everybody rests,
Mm-hmm.
there's no bad blood, but just rest.
Yeah,
But this is somebody that I would consider like
a sister.
in my circle, like inner circle. When I count 5 people, at least the next one should be her.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like it hurts differently when someone in your circle, because you feel like this person knows me.
Mm-hmm.
This person shouldn't do that, right? So yeah, there's also that part that is the back end of forming support system. Maybe sometimes we should also prepare our mind that these people are also humans.
Exactly.
We should prepare that, okay, I've put this person in this pedestal in my life,
Mm-hmm.
but this person can also, fail me sometimes, right?
There's one thing about me, like I will not. It's not perfect, but I hardly get disappointed by people. There's nothing you will do to me that will disappoint me.
What of your mother or your father?
They are humans.
Oh, yeah. I feel like this is what I'm trying to say. Like, if you have been consistently trustworthy,
Mm-hmm.
and I now lose guard and
Mm-hmm.
say, I can rest on you. Do you understand? And that is when you now say, you pull the rug off from my feet.
Yeah,
Do you
I understand.
understand?
I understand
Yeah.
the point you're coming from. And the reason why I say that is I have put it at the back of my mind that we are all humans. And when we avail ourselves to be used by the devil will use us. You don't know when your sister is going to avail herself. You don't know when your father will avail himself. And so when you have it at the back of your mind that we are humans, and you don't know when this person will be triggered to disappoint you or to do something that you find very, you are doing this to me. If you have it that way, when it happens, you don't get the shock that you would naturally get if you really didn't think that this person is even supposed or can do that.
Yeah.
I think that you can have that mindset when you've encountered a first time situation with a person. But from where she's talking, that trust is there. If the person has broken your trust one time, then you have that trust issue. And say, oh, he or she is capable.
It's unstable.
Is unstable.
I
Now you are aware, you become conscious of yourself, and you are ready. But if you are not,
No,
like,
what? Okay.
I don't know how to put it. I understand your point. I understand Glory's point. From where you are coming from, okay, all human beings are the same.
We are prone to make mistakes, and then we are prone to being used.
But there's a
if we
level
allow
of
ourselves.
trust where you get to when you are with someone that you get relaxed.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, this is a go-to person that I can lean on anytime. You understand? So the moment they pull out and then you're on the ground, the shock is there.
I don't know how I got to this level. It's not something that I've experienced. It's just something that maybe I've seen happen over the years. I've seen happen in so many, relationships and people's lives that maybe I have built this kind of mindset on. I have built this mindset based on what I have seen, not what I have experienced. I personally, I haven't experienced being disappointed, and it could also be because I don't really give that room to get that disappointment. Maybe I don't. Maybe what I have experienced, not experienced, but seen happen to people, has made me very conscious on how deep I rely on someone.
Yeah.
How much I put my trust in someone. Maybe that is what has, like she's saying, you have to maybe have experienced it before you can build that thing. But I didn't have to experience. I just had to see. Maybe from high school all the way up, I saw how people just how it happened with people and people and people. You understand? And how they are always, you see two people who were together from Form 1, they go to Form 3, and all of a sudden something small, they are there washing their dirty linen outside like nothing.
No, but I'll never do. I'll never fight dirty. I don't think you ever catch me doing that.
I know. I am. So what I'm saying is, when I look at all these things happen around me over a period of time, like she said, you would have to experience it before. But me looking at how things have happened and how it happened with other people, I feel like I have been very, and I've made up my mind that even if I'm the one feeding you, I can feed you for 10 years. And if one day I need you to feed me and you decide not to feed me, I am not so disappointed because I know you are human and you can do that. I have it at the back of my mind.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
And so I don't really necessarily have to have the first-hand experience to be able to build that, but just observing and how I've made up my mind.
People's experience and stories.
Exactly.
It makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense.
So yeah,
I think maybe that should be a guide. Like we should leave that percentage.
Remove the emotion. Don't attach it too much.
Yeah.
Maybe
don't make it. Nobody is 100%. So even us, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so this segment is called Baby Girl SS. SS. Yeah. How
Lift my hair.
This is a fun segment that we want to know our guests' fetish. So I'll start with Grace. Wig or weaves?
Wig.
Oh, okay.
I just want to be able to get home and yank it off. Throw it.
Convenience, right?
Not wearing.
Convenience. Okay. Colored hair or black hair? Uncolored hair.
Uncolored.
Okay. Conservative. That's good. Dread or tattoo?
Do I have to choose?
Yes.
Dread or tattoo?
Yes.
Maybe dread.
Maybe dread. Okay. Nails or spa?
Spa.
Spa.
I like spa, but I don't get time to go.
But you have to make your nails all the time, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The next, Glory, the same question to you. Wig or weaves?
Weaves.
Oh, okay. Dread or tattoo?
Dread.
Oh, okay. I think we're in the same. Okay, so colored hair or not colored hair.
Uncolored.
Uncolored. Oh, okay. Conservative team. Okay.
I like it natural.
Okay. Nails or spa?
Spa.
Spa. Oh, okay. Okay. Dark, tall, handsome, or fair, tall, and handsome. Yeah.
He's got to be dark.
It's got to be dark.
Mhm.
Oh my God! Why? You guys, you are discriminating. It's segregation.
Answer yours.
It's segregation.
Do I have to choose?
Yes. This is like one end or another. You have to choose. In worst case,
Dark.
dark. Okay. How about rich, smart, pot belly, short, and you have feet, feet macho, feet macho, average guy.
Gloria, you're wicked.
Choose one. You have to choose one.
Average.
You guys.
Average. Does he have a car?
He has a saloon card, regular saloon.
He has a regular job.
Fitness coach.
I like the pot belly.
Ah!
Smart and rich. Let's go. I don't like stress.
What if it's ugly?
It doesn't matter. Looks don't matter.
Money. When there's money, you think why is ugly when there's money?
Oh my God.
Fitness coach. Eh?
I think age is a paramount age because maybe when you're 20 you'll answer differently.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
If
But-
in my 20s, I would have gone for the fitness guy.
Yes.
But with this pot belly money, we can hire a fitness guy. Yes, the
And
money.
he can improve, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
the money.
That's true. That's true. That's true. Okay, so a trip to Maldives or a trip to the Bahamas. Choose one.
Maldives.
Maldives.
In fact, I'm going to Maldives.
Maldives.
Hey,
Yeah,
you
I'm
too.
going to
You too.
Eh,
You too, Maldives.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Okay, let's compare again.
Mhm.
A trip back home to go back home
Mhm.
or a trip to, let's say, the Great Wall.
It depends. It depends.
What is depend? Choose one.
How can I choose one?
You have to
If
choose one.
Now, I have the opportunity to go home. And I
Yeah.
also have the opportunity to go to the Great Wall. But
Uh-huh.
if my sister is getting married, I'll have to go home.
Okay.
But if it's not that, of course I'll go to the Great Wall and come back. It's not like they even miss me anyway.
Are you sure?
I think.
Your Ghana people have been calling me.
Yeah. When is she coming?
When is she coming?
When are you coming back?
The same people ask me, why did you waste all that money to come here? Why did you come to
I am telling you, last. That's what they will say, right? Okay, thank you guys so much. Thank you so much. This has been a very wonderful episode. In fact, we had more guests than we anticipated. We have Comfy, our dog, and we have our great and mighty son, Luca. So it's been a pleasant
Hey, they're fighting over
episode.
the flowers.
I am glad that you guys stick around with us. Until next time, please subscribe, like, and share our videos. Thank you and see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye. Please subscribe. It's very important.
Thank
Like,
you.
share.
Thank